Hello everybody, this is Sarahscopic and you're watching Traffic Musings. So I'm pretty much getting over my cold. I still cough sometimes, but through reasons that are too gross to describe here, I know that I am pretty much all good, just kind of getting the rest of the yuckies out. So unfortunately, I thought that I had another throat infection because on, Saturday night, I kind of woke up in the middle of the night all of a sudden, which I have for the last few nights through coughing. I start kind of coughing a little bit, and then it's kind of hard for me to get back to sleep after that point. I can't speak. Get back to sleep. That's how you say words. Good words. My point is that I woke up suddenly, and my throat was really hurting, and it hurt as in trying to swallow, the muscles felt like it was hurting and it was just scratchy, and I was like, oh no. At first I thought maybe it was my ear, because sometimes when I have issues with my ears, it feels like it's in the throat. I think that's probably just how, things work on your ears, but it definitely feels like it's in my throat. I had taken a cough drop because that's my best test to figure out if it's in my ears or my throat, because obviously if it doesn't do anything, then it's not the throat, and if it does do something, that's definitely not the ears. So I did that, and it kind of soothed it a little bit, so I realized, oh, it's my throat. And I was kind of freaking out, because I was like, are you kidding me? Am I sick with something? Come to pretty much discover and remember and realize that I had eaten something too hot during dinner that night. I was babysitting. I babysit for this one family sometimes, and often I will make my dinner very quickly while I'm making the baby's dinner and stuff like that. And sometimes I eat pretty quickly so that in case something's up with the baby, I can, help her out, so to speak. Well, the problem was that I had to microwave this delicious tater tot casserole, and I was just eating it because some other stuff was happening and not realizing that I was burning my mouth because I was eating it so fast. And after a few bites, I was in pain. Now, usually when I burn myself, which I have unfortunately done very often, it's almost always in the tongue. Maybe I'm drinking something and I burn my tongue. I don't know how many hot chocolates I have hurt myself over. I hate burning my tongue because every time I do, it's those part of my taste buds are dead. And basically, I guess it is what happens. You have to regrow those cells, but it's just so not cool, and trying to eat food is just a havoc. Well, because of how I was swallowing this food so quickly, so I wasn't even tasting the food, I burned basically the back of my mouth. So not even the roof of my mouth. I was eating and chewing and swallowing this hot food so quickly that I burned the back where my molars are. So where your gums are, and then you get the molars and then it's all the way around. That area I burned, and I can tell because it hurts. And I guess I burned the tip of my throat because that also started hurting. I know it has to be that area because it is healing now. So I don't think it was just a sickness thing, but it's healing at about, the rate that I would expect some burns to heal. So trying to drink things, trying to eat things has not been fun, because usually when it's just your tongue, it's annoying, but it's not you kind of deal with it. When it's your throat, so life lesson, don't eat hot things, or test if it's hot before you eat it. I'm just way too impatient with food. I really am way too impatient with food. I have a problem. I actually eat way too quickly. And I don't even just mean that as in I do eat way too quickly, to the point that I had, for a while, was making myself sick without realizing it. I didn't realize that you could get acid reflux from eating too quickly. I didn't know that, because there was a time in my life, around early college, late high school, where I had a problem with burping. And just that every meal would result in burping, but would also happen with meals that shouldn't have burping. So for example, I would burp after eating cereal for breakfast. I don't know if you've ever tasted Coming Up Cheerios, but it's not pleasant, so I do not recommend that. But the point is that I was eating so quickly that was happening, because my brother and my father have acid reflux. We all know this, and it is mostly because of their diet choices. They choose, more acidic foods, and they eat them more often. And for me, though, I I usually didn't as much. Like, I probably eat more acidic foods than I should be. I mean, I eat pizza probably more often than anyone should. But my point is that I usually was okay. Like, pop is a huge one that's bad for acid reflux, and I really don't drink that much pop. And so I didn't really understand why I was having all this acid reflux stuff. Because sometimes, especially with acidic foods, I would feel slightly the acid burn, and I was like freaking out because I never had, those issues before. And I finally overheard someone once mention that eating too quickly can cause acid reflux. And so there was a time when I tried so deliberately to eat way slower and just like take my time, and those acid reflux symptoms pretty much went away. So it was because I was eating too quickly. So now I know for those kinds of things that it pretty much is just the speed I eat, and I have to be careful. Why I started eating so quickly, I blame high school. In high school, you only had 20 minutes to eat lunch and do everything that you wanted. And the problem was that for someone like me who was very busy, I often had things to do during lunch. By things to do, usually that means like people that wanted to talk to me about stuff, or teachers that wanted my help with something, or work I wanted to get done real quick, or side projects and things for theater. The point is, I had things to do, I didn't have time to eat. And so I ate very quickly and learned to eat very quickly. I was also on the go very, very often during my high school years. I mean, when I didn't have theater after school, I would be getting picked up and going somewhere else. I learned to eat very quickly as a result. And unfortunately, that kind of just turned into that I was always eating quickly, just because that was kind of my natural habit. And it kind of became a problem, obviously, with acid reflux, but just even socially it was kind of a problem, because I would be eating, dinner or something, and I'd be done before everyone else. And this was so especially awkward when I'd be eating dinner at like a friend's house, so with family members I don't know very well, and all of a sudden, like, I'm just done eating, and everyone's still talking, or like they're halfway through their food, and I'm just kind of sitting there awkwardly like, well, guess I'm done. It actually led to, I would say it probably led to some weight gain actually in college. I'm pretty lucky that I didn't gain too much weight during my college years. I'm heavier than I would like to be, but I'm gonna be working on it a little bit to try to help myself. I know I'm not like at a weight that's a problem necessarily, like I'm not at risk or anything like that, but I know that I think part of the reason in college, you kind of always go through a little bit of weight gain, mostly because the food is so terrible for you. But I know part of the issue was that I would go to the cafeteria with friends, and I would eat very quickly, because that's just how I naturally was. But my friends would be sitting there and still eating, and we'd all be talking, and we would stay there for a long time. Well, the problem is that I kind of get nervous habits, and so I would go up and get more food, because everyone wants to still eating, and I felt awkward that I was not still eating. So, like, stuff like that would happen. So you end up eating twice as much as you should, because you eat too fast. So again, it's not really that big of a deal, but that part of it is easy to fix, at least. But the actual like eating too quickly is still something that I still struggle with, but I'm getting through. It's just so weird. And of course, like I said, like I just get so impatient sometimes, and so I don't think about the foods and how, hot they are and stuff like that. And that's not good, and so then I just burn everything. I've burned my tongue so many times. It's amazing that I still have taste buds. And it's usually from like, the drinks and stuff, like hot chocolate. I mean, I try to wait for it to cool, but, you have to test it. How else are you gonna test it except apparently burn your mouth? So, whatever. I don't know. Comments below. Tell me about a time that you really burned your mouth badly, and how did it make you feel? Because I'm trying to be a social worker, so I have to learn to be able to ask the important questions in life. Oh, goodness gravy. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope something amazing happens to you. Without further ado, I hope to see you all in next episode.